Good morning. Welcome back to Ladybug Grace and doing another morning devotional through In Touch Ministries. Today is Friday, May 9th. Message will be from Genesis 39, labeled Joseph Forward by Faith. And just like that, we're there at 39. So today's message is Joseph and Potiphar's house, which as soon as I started reading it, a little rainy here today, so I'm going to be a little sniffy. Was about when he was with the I can't remember the guy's name now. Potiphar. Yeah, I just said it. And his house and so forth. I'm sure you remember the story. If not, here it is. Now when Joseph arrived in Egypt with the Ishmaelite traders, he was purchased by Potiphar, a member of the personal staff of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. Potiphar was the captain of the palace guard. The Lord was with Joseph and blessed him greatly as he served in the home of his Egyptian master. Potiphar noticed this and realized that the Lord was with Joseph, giving him success in everything he did. So Joseph naturally became quite a favorite with him. Potiphar soon put Joseph in charge of his entire household and entrusted him with all his business dealings. From the day his household affairs began to run smoothly, and his crops and livestock flourished. So Potiphar gave Joseph complete administration and responsibility over everything he owned. With Joseph there, he didn't have a worry in the world except to decide what he wanted to eat. Now Joseph was a very handsome man and well-built young man, and about this time Potiphar's wife began to desire him and invited him to sleep with her. But Joseph refused. "Look," he told her, "my master trusts me with everything in this entire household. No one here has more authority than I do. He has held back nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. How could I ever do such a wicked thing? It would be a great sin against God." She kept putting pressure on him day after day, but he refused to sleep with her, and he kept out of her way as much as possible. One day, however, no one else was around when he was doing his work inside the home. She came and grabbed him by his shirt, demanding, "Sleep with me." Joseph tore himself away, but as he did, his shirt came off. She was left holding it as he ran from the house. When she saw that she had his shirt and that he fled, she began screaming. Soon all the men around the place came running. "My husband has brought this Hebrew slave here to insult us," she sobbed. "He tried to rape me, but I screamed. When he heard my loud cries, he ran and left his shirt behind with me." She kept the shirt with her, and when her husband came home that night, she told him his story. "That Hebrew slave you had around here tried to make a fool of me," she said. "I was saved only by my scream. He ran, leaving his shirt behind." Joseph put in prison. After hearing his wife's story, Potiphar was furious. He took Joseph and threw him into the prison where the king's prisoners were held. But the Lord was with Joseph there too, and he granted Joseph favor with the chief jailer. Before long, the jailer put Joseph in charge of all the other prisoners and every other thing that happened in prison. The chief jailer had no more worries after that, because Joseph took care of everything. The Lord was with Joseph, making everything run smoothly and successfully. So the message here, which I will put the actual In Touch Ministries message in the description for you to link to. And if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to their channel. It's very uplifting and helpful to do that. So today's message, as believers, we will falter occasionally in our faith. When that happens, how can we keep doubts to a minimum? The key is to remain focused on the Father so that we can move forward in His will for our life. Consider Joseph, who trusted in God during all the harrowing events of his early years. Faith sustained him through the betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment. Resting on his confidence in the Heavenly Father, Joseph didn't let his circumstances, environment, or the opinions of others divert him from acting in accordance with God's will. He decided to do his work with excellence. His duties in Potiphar's house were probably menial, but he performed them as if working for the Lord. This kind of commitment earned Joseph the attention and respect of his master, and the Hebrew slave was rewarded with greater responsibilities. Genesis 39:23 says, "And whatever he did, the Lord made to prosper." And he moved through one hardship after another. Joseph stayed focused on the Lord. who revealed intentions to raise him to a position of leadership. Joseph had a practical approach to the downward turn in his fortunes. He kept thinking about God and serving him instead of dwelling on his trials. So with reading this, and reading Genesis 39, it makes you realize, because Joseph was true to the Lord, back then they couldn't read the Bible, but he was true to the words and what his faith, he was blessed. So that correlates to our days here on this earth. And as the preacher, the pastor the church I go to, the pastor always says, you have to be in the Word every day. You have to read it. You have to know Him. You have to learn. And as long as you're learning and knowing Him and having that relationship with Him, with God, you will be blessed. It may not always be rainbow and sunshines as we're learning here, but He will bless you. He will make sure that you're taken care of no matter where He puts you. I guess correlates to what yesterday's was draw near to God when, I get upset at times because, I'm single. I went through a divorce and I really am missing having a husband, and that's what I desire. And I keep praying for a godly man to come into my life. Hasn't been so good. It's been interesting because I do stand by my principles. And a lot of guys aren't used to that and they walk away. But as long as I stay here, and if you want to look at this, I'm not saying my life is a prison, but if you look at my life right now, I'm blessed. I have a great job. I have good circumstances. I just need to trust Him and what He's doing with me and refining me to be a wife for somebody who's going to eventually come. I keep feeling that He's coming. He's coming, and I keep envisioning the band on my hand because it's more than a band. I'm not saying that, but I need the right man to come into my life. I made a mistake on my previous marriage, and I will share that here. When I asked him why did I end up getting divorced, because I was really upset about it, I said, why did you let this happen? Because of things that were said to me by my ex-husband. He says, you never asked me. So this time I'm waiting. I will sit here in my situation, trust God for whatever it's going to be, and He will guide me to it. I have everything else I need. I have a home. I have animals. You probably just heard the dog. I have a nice yard. I'm able to take care of it. I'm able to take care of myself in my situation right now. I just need the right person to come so I don't worship this man that comes to me. I keep worshiping God. That's why I want a godly man, so He'll understand, what's important. So, forward by faith. This is what this is all about here too. Forward by faith. Trust in Him no matter what situation you're in right now. I know I'm not in a bad situation. A lot of people are in a lot worse situations, and I understand that. But we just have to trust in Him and get to know Him in order to be blessed. So that's my thoughts today. Hopefully you have a great day and a blessed day. And if you have any comments on this, keep it respectful and be happy to read them. Have a great day. Bye.